Good morning. Thank you for your patience. It's that time of session. Welcome to Senate Finance, and I am Marilyn Dondero-Loop. I will be chairing the Senate Finance Committee today. Thank you for all the returnees that continue with this process with us. We will start with calling the roll.
Senator Buck, Senator Cannizzaro, Senator Neal, Senator Wen, Senator Stone, Senator Taylor, Senator Titus, Chair Dondero-Loop.
And I am here. And please mark Senator Wen present when she arrives. She is presenting a bill this morning. All right, reminder to turn off or mute your cell phone so that we aren't ringing. And remember to please state and spell your name for the record, and please give a business card to the secretary if you have one. And with that, it looks like we are all up and running, even in Las Vegas, so welcome, and online. So we are going to start a little out of order. We are going to ask Senator Neal to present Senate Bill 393, and then we will back up and do the agenda in... We'll just leave it as we won't be in order today. Good morning, Senator Neal. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead when you are ready.
Good morning, Senate Committee on Finance. So I am going to, SB 393 is the Windsor Park Environmental Justice Act. So this is an amended version for some add-on language from 2023. You should have an amendment in front of you which changes the reversion date for the general fund, which is important because we had a end date and we need to extend it so we can continue to finish the project. We also have been able to work on this project, and we have purchased the land, which closed April 9th, I think, or you can ask Housing Division, Ms. Hess, for that information, but we closed on the land, and now we are seeking to continue this project to finish out entirety what SB 450 outlined and SB 393 outlines again. And so the additional appropriation would be for $26 million to finish it in entirety. And so I want to break down a couple of things, but ultimately I'll just open myself up for questions because that's what 393 is doing, changing the reversion date, and then the amendment was adding in some pieces where there were, when we were actually implementing this, some of the streets were not written into the bill in SB 453 to make sure that the whole entire neighborhood is actually in statute. And so with that, I will open myself up for questions, and then if any questions for Ms. Hess, if she could come on up.
All right, we'll ask some questions here. Good morning, Ms. Hess. Thank you very much. So, Senator Neal, just to be clear, on the amendment, it says this area also includes single-family residences and vacant lots west of Chamberlain Lane and on Cartier Avenue, Summer Court, Hayworth Avenue, and Stanton Drive.
That is correct.
Thank you very much. All right, do we have questions from the committee? Senator Cannizzaro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And first and foremost, I just want to thank you, Senator Neal. I know this has been a project that you have poured a lot of work and time and effort into, and I am just in awe of your ability to be able to manage this and to continue fighting. And so I'm just happy to have you here and hear updates about how this is moving forward. You mentioned $26 million. I know that is not in the conceptual amendment, but obviously for the committee's consideration. And you believe that $26 million then would help to, and Ms. Hess may have additional information as well, would help to round out this project so we can actually get these folks relocated and into new places.
Yes, Senator Neal, for the record, yes, we have, so couple things. So in SB 450 and in 393, there were several provisions in the bill. One thing that we identified was code has been updated, right? So the housing code is no longer the 1965 housing code. The land, which was purchased for $9.9 million, was $6 million over what we had estimated based on the appraisal for Cibola Park, which was $47K per lot. And so that additional $6 million changed the number, and then also the codes, because the current code in the city of North Las Vegas requires a 2-car garage, right? These houses in 65 didn't have a garage. They didn't have a carport. They just had a driveway. Some had a carport that they built against code at the time because City of North Las Vegas had an ordinance that prevented any of the homeowners to actually build or do anything to their property since 1994, but a lot of the families added that on. And so we have 12 million in order to update the code and then to cover the block walls. So the environmental study that was done on the land, there's a certain kind of wall that has to be built. And so, these homes are not like the new homes. They actually have privacy walls in between. And so it has 12 million, and then we have to demolish the homes because at the end of 393, it was supposed to be a park to memorialize the families. And so part of that is the demolition of the homes. You have to remove the streets, remove the sidewalks, and then also create the park. And so I just want to deviate a little bit to that. I did provide it's in Nellis. You guys have a city view conversion park document, and it's relevant to the park conversation because I know a lot of folks were saying, if the land was sinking, then is the land stable enough for a park to actually exist? Well, in 2019, September of 2019, City of North Las Vegas actually did do a study on the land, and if you go to page 12, they had found that the land had not changed for 10 years, but they had decided that they would not remedy the homes or move the families or do any other lifting of the ordinance. And then if you turn to page 24, they also did an environmental air quality, topography, hazardous waste, hydrology, and biological study on the land, and actually did a park design, which was pretty amazing because the residents actually didn't know about this until I dug it out in 2019 because I was fighting them over the brick wall, of a resident being able to replace their brick wall. And so currently, the city of North Las Vegas is saying that although the study exists, they don't want to pay for the park, right? So we've rolled that into the cost, that if the developer was to create the park, that would be an additional cost, although City of North Las Vegas has a very clear study and design of the park, which is in Windsor Park, that they were going to do without the residents' permission. So if it was the will of this committee to adjust that, we needed to add in for that because it was my understanding they didn't want to pay for it now that we're in 2025. The additional part was we have 23 families who have mortgages. So these 23 families were the new families who were sold homes from, I believe it was 2000, and the earliest was 2001 up to 2021, who were sold these homes even though they were not in a condition to be sold. They had a mortgage, one of the highest mortgages that are on this property, and this is something I mentioned in 23. Highest mortgage is $290,000, and then the lowest is $33,000. And so in order to move them into the new Windsor Park, we have to pay off those mortgages, which was already anticipated from SB 450. And then the vacant lot swap, which is now currently in the amendment, I thought we could do it, but the attorney for the Housing Division didn't feel that the legislative intent was there because we have 10 residents who own vacant lots. They demolished their own home at their own expense, but they still own the property. And since we have an additional 5 lots that is a part of the 18.44 acres that we purchased for 9.9 million. We have room to move 5 of them into the existing lot and just swap the vacant for vacant. And then there are 7 parcels within Cibola Park that we were looking at for the 47K that we also can pick up in order just to close that loop, so that when we do the park and demolish the homes, that there is not this residual land that is still there. And it's just more cost efficient to get it for the 47K rather than some additional amount, which will change after those homes are built. And then I guess I'll stop there. I don't know how much detail. I have a lot of detail.
No, I thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate it, Senator, because I think it just demonstrates that you've done a lot of good work on this, and so I'm just super appreciative. And I know that all the folks in Windsor Park are very appreciative for all of your hard work. And I know I just mostly wanted to make sure that that 26 million was the number that we would be considering, in addition to the conceptual amendment that I think addresses some of the things that you've talked about today. And with that, Madam Chair, I appreciate the time, and again, just wanted to thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much. Any additional questions, Senator Titus?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And along the same lines as the Majority Leader, do you have just a line item, how much you've been given, what have you spent already? And so this is the money, bottom line numbers, your passion and the decades that you've been working on that for these folks. I get all that, understand and actually appreciate, and like the Majority Leader, your dedication to that community. My gosh, I'm quite impressed. But at the same time, numbers. So how much have we given you? How much have you spent? How much are you asking for now? And do you think this will be finally accomplish your goals? Having purchased the land, I mean, that's the huge thing.
Good morning, Madam Chair, and good morning, committee members. Christine Hess, for the record, the CFO for the Nevada Housing Division. I'll go ahead and start on this question. So to date, we have expended $11.15 million. If you'll recall, Senate Bill 450 from the 2023 session appropriated $37 million to this project. Of the $37 million, $25 million was ARPA SLFRF funds, and those are the $11.15 million. The Housing Division has processed 3 draws. The second draw was the land purchase for $9.9 million. The other draws were soils work, initially the Cibola Park soils work, and now the developer has completed the soils work on the new property, the new Windsor Park, and additionally some developer expenses and architectural expenses, normal development expenses that have all been deemed eligible expenses per ARPA SLFRF. We currently still have a remaining balance of the $12 million that this amendment will seek to extend that expiration date of that $12 million of funds. Those were general funds that are also being paid back to the state of Nevada by the city of North Las Vegas.
And follow up, if I might, Madam Chair? Please. So the ARPA funds have been spent?
Christine Hess, for the record. Senator, we have a balance of ARPA funds of just over $13 million.
So we had a certain date that we had to spend the ARPA funds.
So thank you for the question, Senator Titus. Senator Neal, for the record, the amendment to the ARPA is December 31st, 2026. So we have until that date to expend that remaining amount. And then the 12 million general fund, which was a monthly allocation of 250K paid back from the city over 4 years. So technically, and we've been receiving those payments, I believe, since I think the first payment started in October of 23, if not sooner. And so that 12 million general fund is actually being repaid back to the state. And so this new allocation for 26 million for 393 is to finish everything in totality as written and as amended in 393.
Thank you for that, because I just want to make sure we're not sending any ARPA funds. So thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And I just, no, Senator Taylor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator, and thank you, Ms. Hess. I've been just really interested in this program for obvious reasons in the community, and so I'm grateful for the state and for what the city of North Las Vegas is willing to do to make these people whole. Right, this is a really vulnerable population, as you know. So I'm very appreciative of that, from all the way from the northern part of the state. I'm very appreciative of that. My question, and this may be for you, Senator, is with the 26 million that this is requesting, this you said would complete the whole project. Can you give us a little bit of do this, and this? I know you've talked about the park and the background of around the park and so on. Can you just give us that? What are we paying for?
So, Senator Neal, for the record, we will be updating, so the new homes that are going to be built, we have to build them to the current code standard in the city of North Las Vegas. We have to add basically the garages, patio, porches, and then remove the wrought iron fences and then build the block walls. We have to demolish the homes, remove the streets, test for asbestos. Some of the houses still have asbestos, so there's a significant removal. How that was broken down by the developer was at $150K to remove the streets, $122 to remove the asbestos, and then we have the roughly building in 3.5 for the payoff of the mortgages. It might be less, but we just want to give some wiggle room just in case that the 23 who self-reported to the housing division is a little bit more, meaning that it's because what I had from the assessor records in 23 with it was that there were 37 mortgages, right? But they could have been paid off. But what was self-reported was 23 mortgages, right? And so that's currently what we have in our possession, but we just want to make sure that we don't have to come back here. And so giving us some wiggle room there. We have $517K for the vacant land swap, being that we have the additional 5 that were already purchased, right, in the 18.44. And then in the Cibola Park, potentially 6, but we know there's 7 available because we'd actually sought them out to be purchased, but they're currently, the appraisal was $47K per lot. And then we have the relocation expenses because most of these senior citizens, which was in SB 450, are above 65. They're not going back to work. So what we had was the relocation language under CBDG, which allows, and so I adjusted the language to up to. And so the housing division would, they would basically do their cost and then, to move the furniture, whatever they're going to keep, and then move into that house. And then we also have the Baby Windsor homes, which were the 45 homes that were built in 97 through 98, who were a part of the SB 450, who at the time were a part of the relocation plan to move them because the homes were sinking. But when they moved in the testimony in 45 and also all of the City of North Las Vegas minutes that I found and loaded into the record, those houses, their paint was peeling within a year of them moving in. Their home insurance, they didn't have capacity to go in and fix what was happening to the houses. I found minutes for Cibola Park where it laid out that those 45 homeowners were coming to the meetings and saying, I know you just built these houses for us, but literally in the minutes, the tub paint was peeling, right, within a year. And so they had put it on the minutes that they were going to go and fix the houses and bring back the developer that had did it, but they never actually fixed the homes. So they remained in that status, those 45 homes. And so this in SB 450 allowed to go in up to 10K to rehab what they basically had been living with since 1997. And why that matters is because it wasn't just the 90 that were 93 basically that were left in Windsor Park. It was the 45 who were also moved and then left in a state of suspension and not fixed. And what was so interesting in this process was that, you know, kept looking for the original developer, and I found him, and he's living, breathing, human. And I found him, and I was just like, you're the guy who didn't fix these 45. And had the statute of limitations been available for us, I probably would have tried to figure out how to light him up in this bill, the amendment. But it can't do it. But the fact that he was still alive, living, and physically healthy was amazing to me. And I met him during my actual election cycle when I visited a church.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was what I wanted to know and more. So thank you.
Well, I now want to know the end of the story. So, and what did said person say?
Senator Neal,
I mean, if
for the
we're going to
record.
go through this,
Oh
this
my
is
God,
chapter
I'm
2.
sorry. It is chapter 2. It's part
Or
2.
maybe it's chapter 86. I don't know.
He literally said, you know, I was one of the people who worked on this, and I know that there were problems, but they didn't want me to fix it. And I found the minutes that represented him coming and telling the city, I am willing to go back and fix these houses. And I think the issue was they didn't want to spend any more additional money because, I mean, there was a question on, was he qualified in the first place, right? Because of all of the problems that occurred within 1 year. And the fact that their home warranty, which was on the houses, it expired in a year. So they couldn't go back and fix it.
So, with that being said, I'm well aware of this, not only this issue through your championship, but also being a Las Vegas resident. I know exactly where we are here on these maps. So here's my question. As I see in like on page 2, and I think on 12, it's the same. I'm looking at Gilbert. Well, I think it's an elementary now, isn't it? It was a 6th grade center, and then we keep changing.
Senator Neal, for the record, is now a magnet.
Yeah, there we go. And I know Matt Kelly's right there, close. Is it, it's kind of on the edge of this? Right, off of Martin Luther King and whatever the side street is. And there's a couple others right in there. Are the schools affected at all by this, or is it because of the age of our participants? Maybe not.
Senator Neal, for the record. So CVT Gilbert is, like I said, currently a magnet. I think they're affected in regards to how the neighborhood looks, right? So the images looks like a demilitarized zone. So technically the kids go to school, the ones who are in the neighborhood and the ones who are get driven. So they've never seen an actual neighborhood that's whole, right? And so the idea for the park memorialization is to, in the amendment, is to allow, number one, the students to have, the school to have park use or set up the MOU, and to maintain that park, to have that shared kind of relationship, because it literally is within 50 feet of Cartier. And so that's why I wanted to bring in the study, so that on page 12, when they had said that, you know, for the past 10 years, which would have been 2019 back to 2009, that the land had actually been stable. And that matters, because if you were to build a park, and clearly the city was planning on building a park, that there is not going to be a situation where a kid's running through the field and there's, you know, some issue of a tort issue. But so that's why I wanted to represent that, because I know there would be questions around the stability of the land.
Thank you. And everybody knows I always focus in on the kids and the schools, and I know that Agassiz Charter is right there. I mean, there's several schools within a stone's throw, if you will. And so I wanted to sort of focus on that, because you're right. If there's never been a neighborhood, and then if you build homes, now there's a neighborhood. But then if we don't involve the schools, and by the way, the churches as well. So that's the other thing that I noticed was there are several. I'm on page 12, and I can see that we have several churches in the immediate area, and so I know this will affect their parishioners, if you will, but or some of their parishioners. But will any of these churches eventually need to be upgraded or changed or?
So Senator Neal, for the record, Greater Faith, which is on the Hill, they actually have done some renovations to their church. I know they needed a new roof, but that was something that the families, Miss Walker, who's one of the oldest residents, still actually goes to that church. They were trying, churches have building funds. So they were trying to work that out. Macedonia, which is right on Clayton and Cartier, where we have our meetings, Pastor Richardson has actually been trying to just maintain and upkeep their building, but that was not a request that we took in. But they are old and they are a part of that community, but we were just hoping that once we create this park, that we're going to give more cohesiveness to the environment and be able to actually beautify what was, basically a horrible situation.
Thank you. And thank you for that information. Like I said, I know this area well. I've been worked in both H.P. Fitzgerald and Matt Kelly at times. And so I know where you're talking about, and I hope that, hoping that we can find some funding, or Ms. Hess has a big, deep pocket, or somebody does someplace. So thank you very much. Any additional questions or comments? I thank you all for your interest in this project. And Senator Neal, do you have anything else you want to say? Then if you want to step back, we'll go to those in. Ms. Hess, did you want to say anything before I let you go?
Christine Hess for the record. I just want to thank Senator Neal, the committee, and the state, City of North Las Vegas, CDPCN. Everybody is working together as a team. Our dream is really just to see this for the residents, and it really feels real with the acquisition of the land. Things are moving along, and I just want to assure the division's commitment to the senator and to the residents to get this project to the finish line. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your interest. All right, if you would like to step back, we will go to those in support of Senate Bill 393. If you'd like to come forward.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. I'll be super brief. My name is Olivia Tanager. For the record, I'm here on behalf of the Sierra Club Toyabe chapter, the state's largest grassroots environmental organization. We're here in strong support, and I also want to thank Senator Neal for her leadership on this important environmental justice issue, and I urge the committee to move it forward and to continue to fight for the residents of Windsor Park. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those in support in Las Vegas, anyone coming to the table? Those online in AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to offer testimony in support of SB 393, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to offer testimony in opposition to SB 393, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 393, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was trying to honor your, don't have anybody call in. But I want to thank the committee, number one, for reversing the order and allowing us to go first, even though I have multiple things. I'm hoping that 393 moves and that there is healing for the community. There will be healing for myself, and then also healing between, hopefully, me and the city of North Las Vegas, who, I have to say this because they literally, they made this harder than what it needed to be. Although they're on the team now, they spent a lot of effort and time trying to make sure that they destroyed me, trying to help those families. And so I'm hoping that in the future, and this is me sending a signal out, that we will operate in truth and we will be able to heal and have a relationship after there is a confession of what they did to me.
Thank you very much. Olive branches are always good, so thank you. All right, we're going to close the hearing on Senate Bill 393, and we are going to go back to Senate Bill 74 and ask the Secretary to come up. And thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your patience as we heard our first bill. And please go ahead when you are ready.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Dondero Loop and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Cisco Aguilar, Secretary of State, and I'm joined by Chief Deputy DeCara in Las Vegas and Deputy Velashan here in Carson City. We are here today to present SB 74, an elections omnibus bill, and we'll focus on the fiscal impact of the bill. This is the latest version of the bill from last session that was initially developed during Secretary Sagaski's tenure. We consider these common sense, non-controversial updates of election law. There are two areas of fiscal impact I'd like to point out to the committee. Section 4 clarifies and standardizes the list of candidate filing fees for state office and now includes the pre-existing filing fee for the independent candidates for President of the United States. That $250 filing fee has existed since 1983, but previously it had only been listed in NRS 293. This bill proposes to include it with the full list of candidate filing fees in NRS 293. To answer the question before it's asked, SB 225 of this session proposes to establish fees for Democratic and Republican candidates for president as part of the presidential preferential primary elections process, which is why it's not included here. Last session, there was a bill establishing an annual election training conference for city and county clerks and their staff. Section 8.5 of this bill allows my office to reimburse for the costs related to the training from the Reserve for Statutory Contingency account. The overall cost of the training last year was just over $160,000, of which only $55,000 could be reimbursed. We are continuing to work with partners on the implementation of this bill and look forward to working with them. I believe these are the main areas of the fiscal impact to the state. Thank you for your time, and we're available for questions.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you mentioning Secretary Sagaski and her integrity in this position. All right, any questions on Senate Bill 74? Would you please let us know about the amendment that we received from, go ahead.
I was going to say Chief Deputy DeCara can answer that question.
Chair Dondero Loop, members of the committee, Gabriel DeCara for the record, Chief Deputy Secretary of State. That amendment proposes to remove a section of the bill relating to a process by which voters can essentially receive an emergency absentee ballot. We had previously discussed that doing that one way after conversations with stakeholders. We believe that there's a better way to handle the absentee ballot process, which may need further amendments in the future, but we wanted to remove that section now if possible. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So it's a friendly amendment for now. Okay, thank you. Just checking. All righty. Any questions on that or the bill? Okay, seeing none, then thank you very much. And we will go to those in support of Senate Bill 74 here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of SB 74, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Adriana Eniger. That's spelled Adriana, last name Eninger. And I am the Southern Nevada Democracy Coordinator of Silver State Voices. I am testifying on behalf of my organization and the Let Nevadans Vote Coalition, and we are in support of SB 74. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Additional callers, AVH?
There are no other callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we'll come back to Carson City. Anyone in opposition? Ms. Hanson, welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state chairman of the Independent American Party. We do not oppose the fiscal notes on this bill, the fiscal impact. Our concern remains the expansion of electronic voting in Section 1.5. One of the areas there is B, which says that a registered voter is called away from home. We don't really know what the definition of that is. They can get an electronic ballot if they're called away from home. There are some concerns that continue about expanding electronic balloting, and that is from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, the Election Assistance Commission, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the National Institute for Standards and Technologies. And they assess that the risks vary for electronic balloting, marking, and return, while there are effective risk management controls to enable electronic ballot delivery and marking. We recommend paper ballot return, as electronic ballot return technologies are high risk, even with controls in place. So that is our only concern. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for being here. All right, seeing no more opposition here in Carson City, we'll go to Las Vegas. Any opposition in Las Vegas? And on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 74, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak. My name is Kimberly Fergus, Fergus, and I rise in strong opposition to SB 74. To me, this bill is a direct assault on election integrity and violates the foundational trust granted under Article 1, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. Section 1.5 and Section 28 recklessly expand electronic ballot access to any voter who simply claims to be unable to get to the polls. That system was originally limited by NRS 293.269951 and 293D.200 to be deployed to our deployed military, the disabled and tribal members. Expanding it to everyone based on unverified excuses is ripe for fraud and manipulation. Even worse, Section 2 guts NRS 293.176, removing protections that blocked candidates from running under a major political party if they'd recently registered in another state. This invites carpetbaggers, people who haven't lived here, paid taxes here, or invested in our communities to parachute in and jump into Nevada races without accountability. SB 74 weakens residency rules by bypasses chain of custody standards and removes transparency by allowing ballots to be processed before polls close. Section 12 NRS 293.269931. This isn't reform, it's regression. I urge the body to reject SB 74 and protect the credibility of Nevada's elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional opposition online, AVH, when you're ready?
One moment, Chair.
Good morning. My name is Ellen Gifford, Ellen, G as in George, F as in Frank, ORD as in David. There are so many things wrong with this bill that 2 minutes is not enough to cover them all. This testimony will have to address just one of the issues that could jeopardize this bill. I'm not aware of the contents of the amendment just mentioned, so I will proceed. The UOCAVA Act was enacted by Congress in 1986. It requires that states allow certain groups of citizens to register and vote absentee in elections for federal offices. It mandates each state shall designate a means of approved electronic communication for use by absent uniformed service voters and overseas voters who wish to register to vote or vote. Nevada complied with this mandate and created statutes and regulations to support the system. These statutes are in Chapter 293D, completely separate from the statutes for local elections. 293D 200 states the Secretary of State will be using that system to make information regarding the procedures for voter registration and casting military overseas ballots available to covered voters. What is a covered voter? 293D030 states a covered voter is a uniformed service voter, an overseas voter, or a spouse or dependent of a uniformed service voter. That's it. The Secretary of Defense has administrative responsibilities for UOCAVA and requires certain reports from the Secretary of State. Has this proposed deviation of use of the UOCAVA system been discussed with their office? Are there public records reflecting communications with the Secretary of Defense that lay out the intentions to open this system to the public? Do we have agreement from them to proceed with the proposal in this bill? Additionally, note that everyone using this system must waive their rights to have their ballot kept secret. As mentioned, that's just one of the oh so many things wrong with this bill. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional callers in opposition?
Yes, Chair, one
Good
moment.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Cynthia Perry. Good morning. My name is Cynthia Perrine, Cynthia. I do not oppose the reports on the fiscal impact as reported this morning, but I am concerned about the expansion of electronic balloting, which is highly risky as numerous federal agencies have reported. I am in opposition to SB 74. Thank you.
Thank you very much. AVH, any additional callers?
If you have recently joined us and would like to provide testimony in opposition to SB 74, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chair Loop, members of the committee. My name is Susan Greenhalgh, SUSANGREENHALGH. I am a senior advisor for election security at Free Speech for People. We are a national, nonpartisan, not-for-profit legal advocacy organization committed to protecting the Constitution and democracy for all Americans. Through legal action and advocacy, we work to ensure voters have access to the ballot. We forcefully advocate for greater ballot access and support policies to enfranchise all voters, but we oppose electronic ballot return for any and all voters because it's just too insecure. Therefore, we are opposing and urge you to oppose SB 74. Instead of expanding electronic ballot returns, Nevada should seek to curtail it. It is well established and settled science that returning ballots electronically over the internet is dangerously and unacceptably insecure. These warnings have come from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, starting in 2020, and again reiterated in 2024. NIST, the EAC, and FBI have issued a risk assessment warning that even with security protections in place, ballots will still be at high risk for compromise. We don't doubt the Secretary of State is committed to security, but the fact is cyber attacks are inevitable, and and entities with far greater resources than the SOS are successfully hacked all the time. Some of the world's largest financial institutions lose billions with a B every year to online attacks. Moreover, it's undeniable that Nevada's elections are a valuable asset, and it would be unwise to dismiss the threats of cyber attacks on Nevada's online voting system. Because of the unsolvable security threats inherent with online voting, the Federal Voting Assistance Program at the Department of Defense, which initially provided the funding for the Nevada system, explicitly prohibited using the grant funds for any system or components of systems that returns ballots online. Yet the Nevada e-system developed with these grants do actually return ballots electronically, and we maintain this is a contravention of the grant terms, and Congress's explicit and DOD's explicit intent not to support and promote online voting. We welcome your questions in this matter. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments.
Thank you very much. Any additional callers, AVH?
There are no further callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we'll go to support. Hang on, Secretary. It's all right. Support. We can support neutral. I mean neutral. I'm sorry. Neutral. When I saw Secretary coming up, I just got all flustered here. All right. Neutral. Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 74, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Now, Secretary, we'd love to have you back up to the table. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair and members. Cisco Aguilera, Secretary of State. 1, it's Nevada. 2, the ease ballots are not returned over the internet. 3, the amendment removes the portion of the bill dealing with ease. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
I love facts. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that. And with that, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 74. And we appreciate your time today. And I think we are done with your part of the process. So thank you very much. We will move on to Senator Neal Day, and we will go back to Senate Bill 160.
All right. Good morning, Senate Committee on Finance. SB 160 is basically switching the office of NERC to under the AG. The fiscal note that was sent over by Dieter, it's my understanding it's a cost allocation. So let me just break this down. So NERC gets $2 million, I believe, annually, and Mr. Thorley can correct me, and a cost allocation comes off the top. NERC also gets supplemental income from EEOC, which is about roughly $800 per case. And so the fiscal note that they have on here, when I spoke with not Mr. Thorley, but other fiscal staff, is that whether or not NERC increases or decreases, it would result in a redistribution of this cost in the fiscal note to other cost allocation expenses, meaning they would spread it to other areas in order to cover that cost. And so I'll open myself up for any questions.
Are there any questions on this particular bill? Seeing none, then we will have you step back and we will go to those in support of Senate Bill 160 here in Carson City.
Marco Rauda, M-A-R-C-O-R-A-U-D-A. Just want to thank the committee and the sponsor for bringing this bill forward, and I am in support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we will go to Las Vegas. And on the phone lines, AVH, when you are ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Once more, if you have recently joined us and would like to testify in support of SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City. Las Vegas, oh, sorry. Please come forward.
Good morning, Chair Dondero Loop, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Nick Schneider, Director of Government Affairs for the Vegas Chamber, and we are still in opposition to SB 160. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, we will go to opposition in Las Vegas. And on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Once more, if you have just joined us and would like to testify in opposition to SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to speak. For the record, my name is Kimberly Fergus, Fergus, and I rise in strong opposition to Senate Bill 160. To me, this bill recklessly dismantles the existing structure of the Nevada Equal Rights Commission by removing it from NRS Chapter 233 and placing it under the direct control of Attorney General in Chapter 228. This is a dangerous centralization of civil rights enforcement powers, previously housed under the Department of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation. Sections 2 through 30 rewrite long-standing civil rights procedures with no justifications for why the current independent structure isn't working. Section 46 outright repeals the Commission's statutory foundation. This isn't just a shift, it's a power grab. Section 21 allows the Commission to drag housing discrimination investigations out to 18 months, up to 12, delaying justice from both complainants and the accused, yet it prohibits closing any complaint, even meritless ones, unless the complainant is abusive. This is an open door for system abuse. Section 15 mandates attorney involvement of all cases, which sounds good until you realize it could lead to backlog, legal bias, and selective enforcement, all without legislative oversight. SB 160 erodes transparency, politicizes justice, and rewrites decades of civil rights framework with vague justification and massive structural overreach. I urge you to reject this bill and protect the integrity of our civil rights enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Additional callers, AVH.
If you have just joined us and would like to testify in opposition to SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no more callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we will go to neutral here in Carson City.
Good morning, Chair Dondero Loop, members of Senate Finance Committee. For the record, Teresa Benitez Thompson with the Office of Attorney General, just putting statements in neutral that if the legislature made this policy committee and this bill was enacted, then we would engage in the work as directed by the bill.
Thank you very much. Additional neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 160, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Bliss Requa Trouts, for the record, Bliss, B-L-I-S-S, Requa Trouts, R-E-Q-U-A hyphen T-R-A-U-T-Z. I am the Executive Director of Arriba Las Vegas Worker Center, and I am here by phone to offer comment today in support of SB 160. Apologies for ending up in the neutral queue. In addition to the tireless important work of Senator Neal to strengthen NERC and housing protections, this bill is essential at this time to support thousands of Nevadan workers who face discrimination every day in the course of employment. As with housing protections federally, labor protections nationally are at risk or are being eroded. Long-standing civil rights protections established in 1964 federally have come into question after the unlawful firings of Equal Employment Opportunity Commissioners Burroughs and Samuels. Those are in that Commissioner Samuels' firing federally is at question in the court, but it leaves the federal EEOC with lack of quorum, making establishing NERC as a strong investigative body in Nevada even more important. A recent report by the Workplace Justice Lab from Rutgers University and Northwestern University on minimum wage violations show that Black non-citizen women face the highest rates of minimum wage violations in our state. Those are workers who are being paid under minimum wage. And at this time, the fiscal note is a confusing comment, and we'd just like to encourage the Senate Finance Committee to move forward questioning that note. Why is it that 25% of the budget of NERC is required for the operations of DETR? Yet there has only been one public meeting of NERC in the past 18 months. And so as the Senate Finance Committee moves forward, we strongly support exploring how funds are being used at DETR and where NERC can best be placed to ensure that Nevadan workers of all identities have protections against discrimination when they go to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional callers, ABH?
There are no additional callers to provide testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Senator Neal, would you like to come back up?
Senator Neal, thank you, Madam Chair, for hearing this bill. So I just want to just quickly clear up. Number one, SB 160 is not new law. The additional provisions that were added were deleted in the policy committee, and that any reading of this bill around housing rights has been in statute and is actually existing. And so thank you, Madam Chair, for hearing this bill.
And thank you very much. All right, we will go to Senate Bill 1. We'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 116, go to the hearing on Senate Bill 173. And Senator Neal, when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. SB 173 is an omnibus environmental justice bill, has several sections. You have an amendment that's submitted for this committee. Basically on the redevelopment portion where it's related to heat deserts, it gives a sunset. And then that's basically what it does. It has sunset and reporting. So on the fiscal note, there is an adjusted fiscal note from the Department of Cosmetology. Why that is there is because the particular provision under the Department of Cosmetology is to go and test hair products, but it's only in actual retail stores. And it's my understanding that, well, let me explain a little bit more. It's testing for formaldehyde and other chemicals that are in hair products that are actually causing cancer, and it's narrowed down to just retail stores. So it wouldn't be a Walmart, it would just be the hair, like a hair store specifically. It's my understanding that the Department of Cosmetology is a fee-funded agency, and so although this is a reduced fiscal note, it seems that this would be absorbed because the fee then would be charged related to the investigations or going to the sites. And so with that, I'll open myself up for questions.
Thank you very much. I see that you have two amendments, one dated May 6th and one dated May 21st. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Questions on Senate Bill 173? Not seeing any, then thank you very much. If you will step back, we will go to those in support here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of SB 173, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go back here to Carson City. Mr. Delap, late to class. Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. AJ Delap on behalf of Desert Research Institute. We would just like to voice our support for this measure in the amended form and thank the senator for bringing it forward.
Thank you very much. All right. With that, we'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and online. Is there anyone in opposition? AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to provide testimony in opposition to SB 173, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to neutral here in Carson City.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart, representing the City of Henderson. Just want to thank the Senator for taking the time to meet with us last evening. She met with us after hours. I think we have good discussions going. I think we're going to get to a place where this bill is beneficial for everyone. Can look forward to continuing to work on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are no hours right now. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Sheila Bray with the University of Nevada, Reno. I'd like to request if I can move my testimony to support, if that's okay. It's coming from another meeting. We're written into the bill, the university is to help with some of the heat mitigation elements with our extension office in the south and some drought-resistant trees, and also some of the testing that the senator talked to. Thank you.
Hello, Madam. Hello, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Ashley Kennedy, representing Clark County. I just want to ditto the comments made by Mr. Cathcart from the City of Henderson. We were able to meet with the senator last night about Section 29 in particular. That is the one that impacts at least the local governments related to the redevelopment agency, and we are appreciative of the amendment she presented today on with the sunset. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Anyone else in neutral here in Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 173, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Cyrus Hojjati, Hojjaty. I'll echo the previous commentators. Ditto.
Thank you very much. AVH, are there any other callers on the line in neutral?
There are no further callers to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Senator, any closing remarks? All righty. We will close the hearing on Senate Bill 173, and we will quickly go to 192.
Good morning, Senate Committee on Finance. I'm Senator Neal. Present the fiscal note on SB 192. You should have an amendment in front of you dated May 13th, 2025. That deletes Section 26, and then there's the second part of the amendment which deletes Section 30, 33, and 36 related to stem cell. SB 192 has a remaining fiscal note from PEB. I didn't understand the relationship they had to the doulas. So in the bill, it allows for a doula to be a +1 in the birthing room, And so they have all I can say is that I don't know why this note is here, but thank you for the hearing. The rest of the fiscal notes have been removed.
Thank you very much. All right. Are there any questions for the senator? All righty, seeing none, we'll go to those in support here in Carson City. Those in support here they come. Okie doke. Go ahead, please, when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair John Darloop and members of the Committee on Finance. For the record, Leonardo Benavides with UNLV here in support of SB 192. We want to thank Senator Neal for working with us. We have removed our fiscal note from our end and are happy to participate in the health and the mental disparity study. Thank you.
Sheila Bray, University of Nevada, Reno, ditto.
Good job. All righty. Seeing no more support here in Carson City, we'll go to Las Vegas. Any support in Las Vegas? And on the phone lines, please, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in support of SB 192, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City. Here in Las Vegas. And on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 192, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we will go to neutral here in Carson City.
Good morning, Chair Don Darloop, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Nick Schneider, Director of Government Affairs for the Vegas Chamber. We've moved our position to neutral and are therefore also neutral on the fiscal policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I will see in Las Vegas, any neutral? And on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 192, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, Senator Neal, any closing remarks? Seeing none, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 192, and we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 391.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Neal, for the record, SB 391 is my bill that limits corporate investors buying properties. It basically is an aggregate limit on the number of properties that they can buy. The idea was within the housing crisis is to try to make sure that our own folks can purchase a home and not have to compete against a cash investor that may be associated with a hedge fund or out-of-state companies that are literally building entire neighborhoods for rent. So the fiscal notes on the bill, Secretary of State, which is a major player in this bill, their fiscal note is 0. Clark County had 0. Lyon County had a bill, but I just, a small fiscal note, but really it was 0, and it was a note saying they didn't understand what the impact would be to the real estate transfer tax in regard to this limitation and whether or not there would be a reduction. And other than that, that's the status of the fiscal.
So no amendments.
There are no amendments to SB 391.
No amendments, no fiscal note, just the general fund appropriation.
Is there a general fund? and 391.
It's still in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Section 6.
Oh, yeah, for the office, Secretary of State. So, yeah, this was a repeat because this was a bill, I forgot about that, because I had this bill last session, it just had a different number. It was vetoed. Maybe it'll be vetoed again, whatever.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any other questions, members? With that, we will go to those in support here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of SB 391, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, members of the committee. Cyrus Hojati, Hojjaty. I support this bill. I am not too much of a fan of regulation, but I believe that we have a serious housing concern in our area. This limits these wealthy tycoons from buying properties up, monopolizing, limiting the supply. And I believe what this will do is it will allow more homes into the market, bring in more competition, create a more level playing field, and please do what you can to support this bill. Thank you so much. And we appreciate the sponsor for addressing this issue. It's long been overdue. I wish this was addressed 10 years ago or more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional support? AVH, when you're ready.
There are no other callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Those in opposition here in Carson City?
Wiz Razar, W-I-Z-R-O-U-Z-A-R-D, Deputy State Director with American for Prosperity, and Chair Dondera Loop, thank you for the opportunity to testify on this bill. I do want to open up and thank the bill sponsor, Senator Neal, for trying to address a very important issue currently that we're all facing. However, with American for Prosperity, we strive to create an economy that works for all, empowering people to earn success and realize their potential. Overly burdensome regulations related to housing, land use, and zoning make housing more costly and erect barriers to economic growth that inhibit opportunity and geographic mobility. Expensive housing prevents people from moving to areas with the most economic opportunity, which erodes their dignity and diminishes their ability to self-actualize. Senate Bill 391 would restrict corporations to buying under 100 housing units per year and creates a registry of corporate-owned housing units. This is an egregious example of government meddling in the free market and would erode individuals' rights to buy, sell, and rent properties. Additionally, the proposed registry is a breach of privacy and expansion of top-down oversight and burdensome regulations on Nevada. And for these reasons, we ask you to vote no. And lastly, what I'll say is concerns are temporary, power is forever. And so this authority that we would be allowing the government to do is going to supersede not just the current situation, but future situations that our state will face. And so we urge you to vote no simply on the authority of the government overreach. And we appreciate the bill sponsor for bringing these concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional opposition here in Carson City? In Las Vegas? On the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 391, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Kimberly Fergus, Fergus, and I swear, Senator Neal, I'm not after you on all your bills. I just have a little problem with this one. And I'm in strong opposition of SB 391. This bill wrongfully blames corporate investors for Nevada's housing issues. Section 2 imposes arbitrary limit of 100 residential properties per year statewide for all corporations and LLCs, regardless of size or location. This is not a housing solution. It's a market restriction that violates property rights under Article 1, Section 1 of the Nevada Constitution. And it undermines NRS Chapter 111, which protects real property transaction. Let's be clear. This bill will not, and I repeat, will not make housing more affordable. Just the opposite. The real factor driving affordability is interest rates, not investor activity. And we'd all do well to remember 2009, as I do, when REOs and short sales flooded the market. It was the private investors who bought up distressed properties and stabilized the housing sector. They didn't cause the crash, they saved the recovery. Under Section 2.4, investors must register every transaction with the Secretary of State Security Division before buying. Section 5 weaponizes county recorders to block filings unless state certified certificates are shown, especially holding legal transactions hostage to bureaucratic approval. This bill is unjust, anti-business, and sends a chilling message that Nevada is closed for investment. If passed, it will backfire, discouraging development, slowing housing stock growth, and driving prices up further. SB 391 is a trap. Don't take the bait. Vote no. Thank you.
There are no other callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. All right, we will go here in Carson City to neutral. We will go to Las Vegas. And we will go to the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 391, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Senator Neal, closing remarks on Senate Bill 391. All righty. With that, then, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 391, and we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 304. Senator Stone, you are up.
Thank you, Chair Don Darrow Loop, and committee members. I'm Jeff Stone, representing Senate District 20 from Mesquite, including Henderson South to Laughlin. It's my pleasure to present SB 304. Joining me at the table today is John Jones, Chief Deputy District Attorney with Clark County. This bill seeks to punish DUI deaths the same as second-degree murder. The bill aims to revise elements required for a person to commit the crime of vehicular homicide in Nevada. The bill removes the requirement that a person must have been previously convicted of at least 3 offenses to be charged with vehicular homicide. This change simplifies the criteria for charging someone with vehicular homicide. Under current law, a person commits vehicular homicide if they drive or are under actual physical control of a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or certain substances, proximately cause the death of another person while driving, have previously been convicted of at least 3 DUI offenses. The revised law under SB 304 will no longer require the previous conviction of 3 offenses, focusing instead on the act of driving under the influence and causing a fatality. The bill notes that there is no fiscal impact on local governments, but we acknowledge that there is a fiscal note on the state. I will turn it over to Chief DA John Jones, who will briefly discuss why this bill is needed.
Thank you, Chair Don Darrow Loop, members of the Senate Finance Committee. My name is John Jones, here on behalf of the Nevada District Attorneys Association. As Senator Stone indicated, SB 304 has 2 major components. The first is, in essence, to increase the penalty for DUI death to 10 to 25 years or 10 to life, which is the same as our penalty under existing law for second-degree murder. In Nevada, a second-degree murder is committed with what we call, in legal terms, a depraved heart. In other words, that means a reckless indifference to human life. And it's a position of DAs throughout this state that getting behind the wheel of a vehicle while intoxicated and proximately causing the death of another person meets this threshold. Thus, the DUI deaths should be punished similarly to second-degree murder, and that's the first main goal of SB 304. The second major goal of SB 304 is to decouple DUI substantial bodily harm from DUI death. Right now, the penalty for DUI substantial bodily harm and DUI death is the exact same, 2 to 20 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections. The way this combined statute works now artificially limits the potential sentence that those who inflict substantial bodily harm due to their intoxicated driving, due to the sentencing that they ultimately receive. Because judges are less willing to give the maximum sentence in extreme bodily injury cases because they feel that the maximum sentence under current law should be reserved only for DUI death cases. So somebody potentially who has been paralyzed due to driving while intoxicated collision, judges aren't willing to give them the max sentence of 8 to 20 because they feel that is exclusively reserved for DUI death. So our hope is that decoupling these will give us a greater range of sentencing for those offenses. With that, Chair Dondero-Loop, I'm happy to answer any questions about the policy of SB 304.
Thank you very much. Any additional comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, we are open for questions.
Okay.
I am going to take over here. I don't think we have any questions about the policy. Obviously, this is not a policy committee. So do we have any fiscal questions? Just like we've heard some of these other criminal bills, and this might be a question for our fiscal staff, the fiscal note on this is purely speculative. Is that correct?
Wayne Thorley for the record, LCB Fiscal. The fiscal note submitted by the Department of Corrections is based on the estimated effect on the future of the offender population.
Thank you. I don't think we have any other questions, so if we could ask you to step back. And we will begin testimony in support of Senate Bill 304. Remind everyone it is a money committee.
Thank you, Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart, representing the City of Henderson. I'll keep it brief. We support. Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee, Randy Robison, Director of Government Affairs, City of Las Vegas, in support.
Seeing no one coming up to the table in Las Vegas in support of Senate Bill 304, we will go to the phone lines. Are there any callers in support of Senate Bill 304?
Thank you, Vice Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 304, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Cyrus Hojjati, H-O-J-J-A-T-Y. Good morning, members of the committee. Thank you for the sponsor for bringing this bill. This will hopefully create more safety in our roads. This is the first step forward, although we also believe that improving our traffic systems are important as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller.
There are no other callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
And I do see some people that came to the table in Las Vegas. And are you there for supportive testimony?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. If you could go ahead and state your name, spell it for the record, and begin when you're ready.
Yes, good morning. My name is Sandy Heberly. I'm the Executive Director and Victim Advocate for Stop DUI. Sandy is S-A-N-D-Y. Heberly is H-E. V is in Victor, E-R-L-Y. Thank you so much for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate Bill 304. And thank you, Senator Stone, for sponsoring this very important measure for Stop DUI, a measure we believe will help save lives. I've been a resident of Clark County since 1964 and active in the anti-drunk driving mission since 1982. I am also a multiple DUI victim. By multiple victim, I mean it took my family of 7, my mother, myself, my husband, and our 4 children to stop one hit and run drunk driver. The inscription on my mother's gravestone reads, "A drinking driver changed my life," and it certainly did. I'm here today in memory of my mother and the thousands of innocent DUI victims Stop DUI represents. While working with a multitude of DUI victims in Nevada, across the country, and abroad, it quickly became clear that DUI is a crime that crosses all boundaries. Race, religion, gender, age, economic background, Democrat, Republican, Independent, it does not discriminate, and no one is immune. The law tells us it's technically a crime against the state. However, in reality, it's the innocent victims who pay the ultimate price. The tentacles on this crime are far-reaching. It tests the emotional, physical, and financial strength of its victims, and at times diminishes human dignity. The experience often leaving bitter, indelible, and debilitating scars on the heart and soul that last a lifetime. This violent crime robs us of our loved ones, destroys families, shatters hopes, dreams, and careers. This devastating aftermath often leads to loss of income and home, emotional and physical trauma, PTSD, chronic depression, divorce when a child is killed or catastrophic injury is involved, and sometimes suicide. DUI rapes our state of more than $1 billion a year. Let me repeat that, $1 billion a year. The cost to the innocent victims, immeasurable. By midnight tonight, 749 men, women, and children will have been killed and injured in alcohol-related crashes somewhere across this country. It will happen again tomorrow and every day thereafter. And sadly, Nevada has added significantly to this carnage. I'm sorry, excuse me. And that doesn't include the death and injuries caused by driving under the influence of illicit or prescription drugs, marijuana, or a combination of all of the above. Rarely does a week go by without a DUI fatality or injury in Clark County or somewhere else in our state. So who are these victims and who will be next? Yesterday afternoon, I met with our most recent victim's family, the grieving mother and two friends of 23-year-old Jory Odabi, who was simply walking on the sidewalk when struck and killed by an alleged drunk driver. The current statute requires 3 prior DUI convictions before an offender causing DUI death can be prosecuted under that law. Why are we giving these people 3 chances to kill us? After 4 decades of education, awareness, and providing numerous alternatives, there is no valid excuse. We reached a point where the penalty for the crime should and must outweigh the risk these drunken fools are willing to take because they're not listening, as evidenced by the amount of DUI cases seen on a daily basis in the Las Vegas Justice Court alone. As an example, February 3rd, 134 cases, February 4th, 144 cases, February 5th, 114 cases, and February 6th, 105 cases, 497 DUI cases in 1 week in one court, 497
Ms.
willing
Heverly?
to take the risk.
Ms. Heverly?
Yes, ma'am.
We have multiple bill hearings, and I know that there are several other people that we would love to give the opportunity to testify. So if I can ask you to wrap up your testimony, and I see that you do have some written documentation. If you can provide that to our committee staff there in Las Vegas, we'll make sure that it's considered and a part of the record as well.
Well, let me get you the fiscal part of this note then.
Thank you.
And prior to that, I would say that Senate Bill 304 is a wake-up call for those who've chosen to ignore the alternatives. Regarding a $2 million fiscal note, the purpose of SB 304 is to reduce DUI fatalities, thereby reducing the number of people being sent to prison. And frankly, $2 million is chump change compared to the $1 billion plus this crime costs our state every year. So on behalf of Stop DUI Nevada, I respectfully request you give favorable consideration to SB 304. Thank you again for the opportunity to express our views. And in addition, I have several DUI victims here who will be testifying to the reality of DUI, a reality they live every day. So I thank you in advance for the consideration and compassion I know you will extend to them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cheyenne Ambort, CHYANNA AMBORT. I'm here with Stop DUI Nevada to support the bill 304. So as an ERRN for the last 2 years, I contribute to this community just as you guys have chosen to take careers that are supposed to contribute to the community as well. I believe our legislature in this specific situation needs to reflect that by going ahead and passing this bill. DUI drivers should not be allowed 3 opportunities to take other people's lives before they suffer the inappropriate consequence. The idea that it will cost the state $20 million to incarcerate these individuals that choose to risk their lives as well as others is it's well worth it. The lives lost are priceless. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Senate Committee. For the record, my name is Natia Stanley, Natiastanley, and I've been a resident of Nevada for the last 32 years. I'm also with Justice for Jory, an unincorporated association. I'm in support of SB Bill 304. As stated earlier, my brother Jory was killed while walking on the sidewalk by an intoxicated driver. A life of a loved one is priceless. We must think about the victims' families to send a strong message to those who are recklessly taking lives. I implore you, Senate Committee, to put yourselves in my shoes, in my family's shoes, in the victims' family shoes. Thank you.
Just so we can get through all the testimony, when you're done testifying, if you could empty the seat and allow someone else to get back into the seat so we can keep moving. So go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Michelle Abadi, sister to Sergeant Michael Abadi, badge number 304. He was a Nevada highway patrolman who was killed by a drunk driver while assisting another drunk driver on November 30th, 2023. I'm here to say that I am in support of Bill 304 and ask you to make the change needed to make our hometown safer, just as my brother was working to do every single day until a repeat DUI offender ran him and his partner over and left them to die in the road. Thank you.
I don't have anything written down. My name is Judy Abate, and I am Michael's mom. And I appreciate you hearing us today. And I know how busy everybody is, but it's very important that I have a couple words to say about this bill. These DUI repeat offenders, they have to wake up and they have to be aware that there's going to be a price to pay, and I can only say I pay the price every day. And these DUI offenders, their moms get to go to the jail or wherever and visit them, and I don't get to do that. I have to go to a cemetery, and my life's destroyed and ruined and will be forever. And I just don't want any more mothers, siblings, family members. My grandson, he doesn't even know he doesn't even know my. It's too hard to try to explain in words. And thank you for listening to my heart. And please don't ever let any of this happen to you or your family, because it's not just another day for me. It is for you, but for me, I live a death every day. So thank you for listening, and I appreciate your considering the changes on Bill 304. Thank you.
My name is Kippley Prince, Kippalee.
Prince, Prince. My husband, David Prince, and his friend and coworker, David Post, were killed by a drunk driver on April 13th, 2023 in Nevada National Security Test Site on Mercury Highway. One of the few places left on this earth that you should never have to worry about a drunk driver. Their bodies were so destroyed that it took 15 days and DNA testing to legally identify them. It took 23 months to get the offender convicted. We're done with the education. My 7-year-old grandson knows that drinking and driving impaired are dangerous and illegal. It's time to start holding people accountable for their actions. That's the only way this is going to stop. They don't care. The slaps on the wrist are not enough. And I'm so tired of adding people to this group of misery that we never asked for. We have no control over. I'm in support of SB 304. And I hope that money doesn't stop this bill from going through. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Elisabel Yabut. I am the eldest daughter of Trooper Alberto Felix. My dad passed November 30th of 2023 alongside with Sergeant Michael Abate when they were helping a stranded driver when a repeated offender DUI driver hit them and killed them. And my dad never came home that night. DUI doesn't just take lives, it shatters families. I would know because my family is living proof of that. Every holiday, every birthday, and every ordinary day, we feel his absence. This isn't just a tragic story, it's my reality, and it could happen to yours. Unjustly, under the current Nevada law, that driver could not be charged with vehicular homicide because he didn't have 3 prior DUIs. That loophole is not just a legal technicality, it's a failure of justice. SB 304 closes that loophole and says that if you choose to drive impaired and you take a life, you will be held accountable. Whether it's your first offense or your 5th, that's harsh, that's fair, and it's necessary. I'm here today not just as a grieving daughter, but as a voice for all the families who's lost somebody to an impaired driver. Let SB 304 be a turning point. Let my father's sacrifice mean something. Let's honor him and prevent the next tragedy by passing this bill. Thank you.
My name is Denise Parrish, and my husband, Al Weiss, was killed by a drunk driver. We need this bill to pass so that others aren't sentenced to life like I am. The killer has a short pause to his life. I have a life sentence. And because this was his first DUI, his sentence is not nearly long enough. And he's still been walking 13 months. He still hasn't been sentenced. He wants the time served taken into consideration. He served 2 days. It will be 13 months that he's walked free before he's sentenced. We need the strength of Senate Bill 304 to give the grieving families. We beg you to take this action as soon as possible. My granddaughter and I miss my husband every day, every minute. Thank you for the opportunity of letting us speak here today for those that are not able to speak for themselves anymore. For all the broken families, we beg you to pass this desperately needed bill so maybe another family won't be destroyed like mine is. If this is about the money, the killers should have to pay restitution for their time in jail. This needs to pass. I might be the last one testifying here today, but tomorrow there'll be somebody in the same place that I am, who today is a wife and tomorrow a widow. I beg you to pass this bill. Thank you.
I don't see anyone else in Las Vegas. If we can go to the phone lines in testimony in support of Senate Bill 304.
Thank you, Vice Chair. If you would like to provide testimony in support of SB 304, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
If we can move into testimony in opposition, if there's anyone to testify in opposition. Seeing no one in Las Vegas coming to the table and no one here in Carson City, is there anyone on the phone lines to testify in opposition?
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 304, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you. And neutral testimony. Is there anyone to testify in neutral? Seeing no one in Carson City or Las Vegas, is there anyone on the phone lines in neutral?
Thank you, Vice Chair. If you would like to provide neutral testimony for SB 304, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Senator Stone, do you have any, nope, he's waving off any closing comments. And so we will close Senate Bill 304 and I'll turn this back over to the chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. And with that, we will go to Senate Bill 81 from the Nevada Department of Education. Please come forward and go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you. Good morning. Amelia Thibault for the record, THIBAULT on behalf of the Nevada Department of Education. I'm also joined by my colleague Jeff Brisky in Las Vegas. SB 81 is the department's cleanup bill with provisions regarding school climate and exit surveys, cleanup and clarification regarding reporting requirements to include adjusting the dates for the NRS 387, 388A reports on school and district expenditures to support more accurate data that is reported following the close of the fiscal year and the annual audit reports, and clarifications on educator scholarship funds. To address the fiscal notes on the bill as introduced, we had the First Amendment go through the Education Committee, which removed the language regarding the quarterly transfer of revenues and funds into the State Education Fund. So that removed those initial fiscal notes. The remaining provisions, including the amendment introduced today, show no fiscal impact at this time. The reason we are here with you today is that this bill and the amendment on the table today, which was completed in collaboration with UNLV, revises the administration and fund mapping of the Teach Nevada Scholarship, Teacher Advancement Scholarship, and Incentivizing Pathways to Teaching grant. Specifically, in order to address barriers to administration and the flow of funds to students, this amendment moves all three of these programs into a single block grant. The Teach Nevada Recruitment, Preparation, and Retention Program, which will award a single lump sum grant to each NSHU organization or eligible provider. This block grant maintains the integrity of each of these programs, but simplifies the administration and disbursement of funds. Additional provisions introduced in the amendment include elimination of the 25% holdback, largely because of incredibly low follow-up on those funds. Limiting eligibility for scholarship funds to the cost of credits for a maximum of 6 semesters of undergraduate licensure coursework, 3 semesters of graduate coursework to include clinical field experience, or the length of time not to exceed 3 years to complete a program for alternative route to licensure. It also adds a requirement that recipients of these funds receive a 3-year provisional license as a stay here clause, and adds various reporting and tracking mechanisms to provide greater transparency and data analysis on the use of these funds and the return on investment in education. This amendment will require changes in terms of the fund mapping for each of the appropriations. However, it does not adjust the established allocations or the amounts allocated or designated for each project. We're available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I see that you have the new amendment, and this is dated May 21st. Is that right?
Correct. Thank you.
Does this, so this fixes some of the issues that we had with the programs at, for example, UNLV?
Amelia Tebow for the record. We do believe so, yes. We worked with UNLV. They gave us conceptual language and a path forward. In particular, this removes the stipend language, which has been particularly problematic for UNLV in terms of flowing those funds out to students, as the stipend language required them to treat the student as an employee. This moves all of these items as a general scholarship, which eases administration and supports more rapid flow to students.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was my concern with this. All right, any questions from the committee? We're losing people as they go in and out to other bill hearings and other committees that might be meeting that they're needed in. So we appreciate your time. If you'll step back, we will go to those in support here in Carson City. And welcome, Chancellor. Thank you for being here with us today. And go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Chair Dondero Loop. Just for the record, Patricia Charlton, Chancellor, Nevada System of Higher Education, and we urge your support of SB 81.
Susan Keema, for the record, Keema. I represent the 17 public school districts with the Nevada Association of School Superintendents, and we're in support of SB 81. This bill creates efficiencies within NDE, supports the educator pipeline, which again supports districts while we work together to move academic achievement forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And seeing no more support here in Carson City, we'll go to Las Vegas. Anyone in Las Vegas? Not seeing anyone, we'll go to the phone lines. AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of SB 81, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Hello, Madam Chair and Finance Committee. My name is Dr. Kenneth Varner, VARNER. From UNLV, I serve as Associate Dean. We are in strong support, particularly as it relates to addressing the amendment that addresses the fixes to the scholarship language. While we've been very vocal about it, this really does, and I'm very thankful that the Chancellor also spoke in support. This fixes an NC-wide problem in terms of how these funds flow. More importantly, the amendment also creates safeguards, data reporting agreements that haven't been in place, and it also helps us all work collaboratively so that you all know as a legislative body how these funds are being used, how they're getting to students, and it creates caps on these funds to ensure that we're supporting the widest array of students without over-benefiting some and excluding others. So for all those reasons, we're in support, and thank you to NDE and the department for working very collaboratively on understanding how we can have these amendments make the funds as strong as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, we'll go to anyone else on the line in support. AVH, if you're ready.
There are no other callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to provide testimony in opposition to SB 81, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Kimberly Fergus, FERGUS. Although this bill, SB 81, it is for scholarships and stuff like that, but this starts in high school creating the pathway. So for this reason, this is why my testimony is going to sound like it's for high school and stuff like that when it's not. This bill claims to improve education, but centralizes control under the Department of Education through vague top-down mandates. Under Section 1, it requires taxpayer-funded surveys of public school employees, yet no feedback is required from parents or students. That's one-sided and silences the true stakeholders in education. Section 5 changes Victory and Zoom services in NRS 387.121 and 387.12445 to generic terms, stripping meaning from programs designed to help vulnerable students. It creates a block grant program, but under the full control of the department, not schools, not local boards, and certainly not parents. It also rewrites physical transparency under NRS 387.320 in Section 7 moving forward, requiring expenditure reports from newspapers to obscure corners of district websites. That's not accountability. That's hiding public spending. I urge you to vote no on SB 81. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next caller, please.
There are no other callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in the neutral position for SB 81, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing comments from the department? Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 81. And if Angie will be patient for 1 minute, we'll jump to Senate Bill 473. Is that also a Department of Education bill? Welcome, Ms. Peterson. We're glad to see you. And go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, Deputy Superintendent Megan Peterson for the record. Today, SB 473 is before you. This provides appropriations from the general fund to the Department of Education for various budget accounts. These appropriations are primarily for the replacement of computer hardware and associated software, and in one instance, the replacement of office chairs that have reached their end of life. For our Office of Educator Effectiveness budget account, 3 computers are appropriated for a total of $7,152 for the biennium. In the Office of the Superintendent, $26,360 is available for 11 computers to be replaced within the biennium. In our Standards and Instructional Support Office, a total of 10 computers will be replaced for $23,840 for the biennium. In the Assessments and Accountability Data Office, a total of 10 computers as well, $23,118 for the biennium. Office of Student and School Support, a total of 22 computers for $52,448. In our Office of Individuals with Disabilities account, 8 computers for $19,072 over the biennium. In the Data Systems and Management budget account, 12 computers, $28,935 for the biennium. And I won't go into much detail for the remaining budget accounts given the number of them. And as I mentioned, desk chairs for one of our other offices are all appropriated within this budget, this bill. And that concludes my testimony.
Thank you very much. And I see that the entire appropriation that you're asking for is $258,379. But is there any way to reduce that? And by reducing a couple of authorizations down, it could be like $225,000. Has there been any discussion about that?
Megan Peterson for the record. I do believe we were in conversation around that because some of these computers may be replaced with using federal funds from the appropriate budget accounts.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions on this particular budget? All right, with that, if you'll step back, we will go to those in support of Senate Bill 473 here in Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone line, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of SB 473, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to testify in support at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to opposition here in Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 473, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines when you're ready.
If you would like to give neutral testimony for SB 473, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks, Ms. Peterson? Thank you very much, and thank you to your team for your patience. And with that, we'll close Senate Bill 473, and we will welcome NSHE and the Chancellor up. Senate Bill 472, thank you very much. 2 days ago, we wouldn't have been able to do this at all, so we're happy for you to be here. Please go ahead when you are ready.
Thank you so much, Chair Dondera Loop and members of the committee. For the record, I'm Patricia Charlton, Chancellor, Nevada System of Higher Education, and it is my pleasure to be here today to present Senate Bill 472. Just as a note, this appropriation was originally included in the governor's recommended budget, but was ultimately submitted as an amendment via a one-shot appropriation. This request funds a technical adjustment to the weighted student credit hour value used to calculate the caseload adjustment for instructional budgets within our institutions. NSHE's caseload adjustment is based on actual fiscal year 2024 weighted student credit hours, not on projected caseloads. So our caseload adjustment is just to bring funding to the level of our fiscal year 2024 student completions for resident students. This adjustment incorporates the value of the legislatively authorized salary adjustments for FY 24 and 25 to the extent funded by the 82nd Legislature. The funds were not considered in the prior weighted student credit hour calculation because the salary adjustment funds are appropriated by the Board of Examiners for the first biennium, but then those expenses are incurred in the campus budgets moving forward. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm joined by NSHE Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer Chris Fatone, and we stand ready for any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this? Do you have a anticipated amount? Have you, Mr. Fatone?
Thank you, Chris Fatone, NCG Financial Officer, for the record. Thanks for the question. We have the amount. It's calculated based on the actual fiscal year 25 legislatively approved appropriations, but just adding to that the set-aside salary adjustment funds that go to Board of Examiners. Are you asking for the dollar amount itself? It's per year. It's 4.7 million. It's 9.4 million for the biennium. And we have that amount by appropriation for the accounts. It's according to the same caseload figures that were used for the base appropriation adjustment.
Perfect.
Also.
Thank you. I just wanted that on the record. Thank you. All right. Any other questions for the Chancellor, Mr. Fatone? All right. Seeing none, if you'd like to step back, we'll go to those in support of Senate Bill 472. Welcome.
Amy Payson, AMY, PASON, and I represent the Nevada Faculty Alliance. The Nevada Faculty Alliance is the independent statewide association of professional employees of the colleges and universities of the Nevada System of Higher Education. NFA is in support of SB 472, whereas the caseload adjustment enhancement as part of the full NSHE budget is not new. We are appreciative that the amount per weighted student credit hour has increased to account for the increased cost of offering quality education to our students. The more students we serve and the more services we provide to those students, the more we will need the support of the state. Otherwise, the burden of cost will be shifted to students. We also recognize that the increased amount has been adjusted because of the historic COLAs awarded in the last biennium. We underscore that these COLAs were needed and deserved to retain current faculty and keep salaries competitive. Our students benefit when we have full-time faculty in the classroom that are there to mentor students through all stages of earning their degrees. This includes training the next generation of researchers, entrepreneurs, or legislators that will serve our state. We ask for your support of SB 472.
Thank you very much. Any additional support here in Carson City, in Las Vegas? And on the phone lines, please, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 472, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas. On the phone lines, when you're ready, AVH.
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 472, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we will go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you are ready.
If you would like to give neutral testimony today for SB 472, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks? Any closing remarks? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Alrighty, then we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 472, and we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 498, which also is Nevada System of Higher Ed. Please go ahead when you are ready.
Thank you so much, Chair Dondero Loop and members of the committee. Again, for the record, my name is Patricia Charlton, and I serve as the Chancellor for the Nevada System of Higher Education. And I'm here to present Senate Bill 498. In 2023, the legislature passed Senate Bill 375, which allocated $20 million over the 24-25 biennium to expand nursing programs at each of our NSHE institutions. We are deeply grateful for this investment. However, a 2-year funding window is not sufficient for these programs to become self-sustaining through enrollment growth alone. Thanks to this support, we are already seeing meaningful impacts and results across our institutions. Continued funding is essential to maintain this momentum and to expand access to care and build a stronger, more equitable healthcare workforce for Nevada's future. If this funding is discontinued, we would be forced to reduce our nursing programs to pre-funding levels at a time when our state is already facing a critical healthcare shortage. We have representatives from our nursing programs here today, both in Carson City and in Las Vegas, who are available to provide any additional information if the committee has specific questions. Thank you again for your consideration of SB 498.
Thank you very much. And any questions from the committee? Senator Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you. Certainly, expansion of the nursing programs definitely increases access to care. But how for $20 million, 10 and over each biennium, how many additional nurses does this produce?
Chair Dondero, loop through you to Senator Titus. We can get the specific information. It does vary by each of the campuses. We do have representatives from the UNR Nursing School and UNLV if you'd like them to come to the table.
No,
But
I
we can
think
get that.
just in the interest of the time and
Sure.
hearing these bills, if you could get that to us, I'd really like to know what that looks like as far as actual numbers.
Absolutely.
Are we changing the needle?
You will have it today.
Thank you very much. I have a question about sort of on the same line, but not. really, I guess. What institutions are taking part in this particular funding?
Thank you so much, Senator Dondero-Loop, for the question. All of our teaching institutions, UNLV, UNR, Nevada State, CSN, Truckee Meadows, Western Nevada, and Great Basin, all of those institutions are participating.
Thank you very much. All right. With that, Senator Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize. I was thinking about this in my head, so now I'll just ask. So this additional, this allocation, this appropriation, I should say, does it expand the program that you were able to work? Because I know last session you were granted $20 million to get the program going. Does this expand the program, or does this keep where are we putting this money? Should it be appropriated?
Thank you so much, Senator Taylor, for the question. And so the $20 million was allocated very late in the session and effective in July 1st. So what the institutions were able to do was to, one, begin recruitment and retention of critical nursing faculty. Some institutions had to actually make some capacity and lab adjustments and purchase additional materials and equipment. And so what this will do is continue the funding of those faculty nurses and other programmatic elements that are necessary to continue that increased capacity of students. And so because of the way that NSHE is funded on basically you get caught up for your enrollment in the next biennium, those students won't be realized in our weighted student credit hour count until actually FY26 moving into the 27 session. And so we'll have student fees and the weighted student credit hour, so moving into the future, that will be absorbed within the budget. But we needed one more biennium to get to the count and to actually have the capacity. So it's funding nurses, it funded equipment, and operating for these critical programs.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Madam Chancellor. So really, this is one shot, because ultimately the whole idea is for enrollment to cover the costs as you move forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Any additional questions from the committee? All right, if you want to step back, we'll go in support of Senate Bill 498 here in Carson City.
Amy Payson, AMY, PASON, and I'm here representing the Nevada Faculty Alliance. NFA is in support of SB 498 that continues the funding for nursing expansion for NSHE. All NSHE institutions participate in training our state's nursing workforce. The grant appropriated last session for this expansion went towards retaining current faculty and adding new faculty to grow the capacity of programs. We cannot graduate the next cohort of nurses unless there are faculty teaching courses and supervising required clinical hours. To continue the momentum of growing nursing education, all our institutions will need to maintain the staffing needed to mentor the next generation of nurses for our state. Although this money is a one-shot, the costs for continued training of our students are continuing costs. Programs cannot plan for enrolling more students if there is a question of whether that funding will be there past this biennium. We support this funding now and hope that the legislature will keep our nursing programs in mind as we go into the future. Thank you.
Senators, thank you. I'm Charlie Yingling. I'm the Dean of the Orvis School of Nursing at University of Nevada, Reno. When people think of UNR and UNLV, they often think rivalry, but I'm here today with my partner from UNLV in firm solidarity to testify in support of SB 498. Nevada ranks in the bottom 5 in the nation in nurses per capita. To reach the national average of 9.2 nurses per 1,000 residents, we would need to add about 4,000 registered nurses to the workforce. In the last biennium, the legislature appropriated $20 million to NSHE to grow our capacity to educate those nurses and serve Nevada, and this bill would sustain that growth. With the previous round of funding at UNR, we were able to grow our faculty ranks by almost 30%, which enabled us to move all of our nursing programs into year-round offerings. We invested in simulation facilities and equipment to improve the clinical preparation of our nursing students. And with this increased funding and simulation capacity, we were successful in growing our academic programs so that we are now admitting 96 bachelor's students twice annually, which is an increase from 72 before that SB 375 funding in the last biennium. Concurrently, we're launching a new cohort of our nursing program at our Lake Tahoe campus, where the clinical focus will be to prepare nurses for rural and community-based nursing. And I'm pleased to share that last week we graduated our largest ever nursing class. With continued funding, we will sustain the growth we've achieved to date, and we will launch a new accelerated bachelor's option to streamline entry into the nursing workforce for people with degrees from other fields. However, without sustained legislative investment, it will be a challenge to keep the growth that we've had, and it will not be possible to continue the growth that we propose. So I urge your support for SB 498, and I thank you for continuing to invest in Nevada's nursing workforce.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Sigrid Barrett, Sigrid Barrett. I'm the Dean of the School of Nursing at UNLV. Thank you so much for having us talk about Senate Bill 498. UNLV School of Nursing proactively planned for SB 375 funding from the last legislative session before it was officially appropriated. In August of 2023, we submitted a comprehensive proposal to the Nevada State Board of Nursing outlining a sustainable plan to more than double our BSN program enrollment from 2019. We began implementing this growth in spring of 2024, admitting our first expanded cohort of 104 BSN students. We admit BSN students 3 times per year, so that is a total of 312 BSN students per year. Additionally, we have also launched our direct entry MSN program, the DEMSN program, designed for non-traditional students, admitting our first cohort in fall of 2023 with 32 students per cohort 3 times per year, totaling 96 students each year. To provide specific enrollment numbers, before SB 375, we had 72 students per cohort in our BSN program. After SB 375, we increased that number to 104. We have Board of Nursing approval to accept 144 students per cohort. And with the continued support from SB 498, we will be able to admit 432 BSN students per year. Additionally, for our DEMSN program, with a continued support from SB 498, we will increase our cohort size from 32 to 48, which means a total of 144 DEMSN students per year. To put it simply, with funding from SB 498, we will be able to continue increasing the number of students we can accept to a total of 576 students, whereas now we are at 408 students. At UNLV, we have great interest in our programs, an average of 33% acceptance rate across programs. Nursing is the #1 declared major from our pre-nursing cohort. We are turning away qualified applicants because we don't have the faculty and staff needed to admit more students. For example, for 104 seats in our BSN program, we would receive per cycle about 200 to 275 applications. And for our DEMSN, for 32 seats, we receive over 150 applications per cycle. Using the SB 375 funding and to accommodate the additional almost 200 students that were added to the nursing workforce, we hired an additional 13 full-time faculty and staff. Our plan incorporated innovative solutions to clinical site and course space limitations, including AM/PM scheduling to maximize clinical placements, expanded use of simulation equipment, and significant investments in our simulation center. We used virtual and hybrid learning modalities and split schedule classroom model to creatively accommodate classroom space limitations and allowing for lower student to instructor ratio. Approximately 94% of our nursing graduates remain to practice in Nevada. Approximately 53% of our nursing graduates are first-generation college students. UNLV School of Nursing has demonstrated impactful outcomes from SB 375 funding. Our faculty hiring, clinical placements, curriculum design, and simulation support systems are already in place. In addition, we have expanded student services team to include a robust team of student success facilitators who work closely to support all nursing students with navigating academic and non-academic barriers while in the program. Additional funding from SB 498 will allow us to accept more nursing students, hire more faculty and staff, and have better infrastructure to support teaching and learning and produce highly educated nurses to care for our Nevada residents. Thank you for supporting SB 498.
And thank you for that information. Thank you all very much. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Sarah Adler, representing the Nevada Advanced Practice Nurses Association. We are in strong support of the bill, and we appreciate all of your efforts. Thank you.
Zoe Houghton, on behalf of the Nevada Nurses Association, who was here earlier this week with a successful Nurses Day, here in very strong support. Thank you.
Todd Inglesby, representing SEIU. Good morning, Chair and committee members. We support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll go to Las Vegas. Please go ahead and when you're ready at the table.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. For the record, my name is Ryan McInerney, Deputy Chief of Staff at Nevada State University, and I'm here today in support of SB 498. Nevada State is proud to have the largest nursing program in the state, providing nearly half of all BSN graduates in the NSHE system. Thanks to the $5 million investment allocated to Nevada State from SB 375 last session, we've already seen transformative results. 106 additional nursing students enrolled as a result of this funding, 4 new faculty members hired, lab personnel, an assistant dean of student success for nursing, and a part-time cohort converted to full-time, expanding our program's capacity and impact. At a time when Nevada ranks 49th in the nation for nurses per capita, continued investment is not just beneficial, it is essential. Maintaining current funding levels will enable us to graduate an additional 264 nurses over the next biennium. Any reduction in funding would directly translate to fewer nurses entering our healthcare workforce. Sustained support for nursing expansion is critical, not only to build on the momentum we've created, but to help these programs become self-sustaining through increased enrollment. On behalf of Nevada State University, we respectfully urge you to continue this vital funding. Thank you.
Next person, please.
Hello, my name is Dr. Elizabeth Solomon. I represent the Department of Nursing at the College of Southern Nevada. As a result of Senate Bill 375, which we are very grateful for, we were able to augment our simulation and lab services to provide a higher quality of education for our nursing learners. We have already gone to the State Board of Nursing twice to increase enrollment for our practical nursing program and for our associate degree, our CAP enrollment. We increased our enrollment from 32 to 56, and I've already asked the State Board of Nursing to be placed on the July agenda to request another enrollment increase. Our enrollment, our CAP enrollment for the nursing program was raised from 500 to 650. So we have got a momentum going. We've also seen increases in our RN to BSN program. The College of Southern Nevada offers stackable degrees. So we have learners come in to get a skill certificate with a nursing assistant. And we were able to align programs going from the CNA to a practical nursing to an ADM program. And now we also offer an RN to BSN bridge program that we've seen increases in enrollment there. We've also offered to the community not only to augment our faculty numbers, a RxNE program, which we've had 3 sessions that were very successful to bridge a gap from getting our clinicians into academia. So to help show them what academia could be like for them and just so they can share their expertise with learners. The CSN learners are committed to Las Vegas. They learn in Las Vegas. They were raised in Las Vegas, and they will continue to practice nursing in Las Vegas. I say this not only as an educator, but somebody who also grew up in Las Vegas, who graduated from one of the colleges and have been a practicing nurse for 36 years and have family and grandchildren here. We need this momentum and we need this infrastructure in our nursing program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next person at the table.
Hello, my name is Janice Glasper, Glasper, and I am the Dean for the Engelstadt School of Health Sciences at the College of Southern Nevada. And I just wanted to come and thank you, first of all, for the support with Senate Bill 375. What we were able to accomplish with those funds standing up a state-of-the-art simulation center at our North Las Vegas campus. It took us a little while because we had to do some capital improvements in order to make that expansion. But as nursing moves forward, it appears that simulation is becoming more and more important in the training of our enrolled learners who want to become nurses. Our clinical sites are becoming limited as more programs crop up. So this simulation activities allows us to provide our learners with state-of-the-art exposure to real world or as close to real world experiences as we can. So thank you for the 375, Senate Bill 375 funding. We could not have done that without those funds. And now that we've stood that up and purchased all this equipment and technology and resources and consumables and made that expansion and are expecting to expand additionally to our Henderson campus, we will have nursing programs offered at all 3 of our CSN campuses, which will increase our enrollment tremendously. So we're looking for continued support as we roll out, increase our enrollments, stand up additional cohorts at our other campuses, and continue with our stackable credentials, allowing our learners to go from being in CNA to PN to ADN to BSN. So thank you again for your support of the new bill. Have a great day.
Thank you, and thank you for your time here today. All right, seeing no more people at the table in Las Vegas, we'll go to online. Is there anyone in support of Senate Bill 498 online? AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 498, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Renee Ruiz, Renee Ruiz. I'm with National Nurses United, National Nurses Organizing Committee of Nevada, and we are in full support of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next caller, please.
There are no other callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 498, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please.
If you would like to give neutral testimony for SB 498, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Any closing remarks? All righty. Then with that being said, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 498. And we'll open the hearing on Senate Bill 486, Treasurer Department. Looks like they might be in Las. Are you in Las Vegas? Okay, go ahead, please, when you are ready.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Kirsten Van Rye, Chief of Staff for the Nevada State Treasurer's Office. For the record, I'm here today presenting SB 486, which provides for an appropriation for the Nevada Promise Scholarship in the Silicosis and Disabled Pension Fund. Section 1 of SB 486 appropriates $10,718,696 to the Nevada Promise Scholarship Program. This scholarship applies after all other financial aid and is administered by the Nevada System of Higher Education. Section 2 of the bill appropriates $1,000 to the Silicosis and Disabled Pension Fund. Pursuant to NRS 617.1675, the state treasurer is responsible for administering the account for pensions for silicosis diseases related to asbestos and other disabilities. The fund was established in 1975 and provides silicosis and disabled pension fund benefits for diagnosed employees, their dependents, widows, widowers, surviving children, or surviving parents pursuant to statute. Silicosis is a form of occupational lung disease caused by the inhalation of crystalline silica dust and is marked by inflammation and scarring in the form of lesions in the lungs. The money in this account can only be used to pay benefits, and neither the Treasury nor the insurance company responsible for administering the payments is eligible to receive money from the fund. Our office estimates the annual payments for this fiscal year to total approximately $9,200, and SB 486 requests $1,000 for the upcoming biennium to continue these payments in accordance with NRS 617.168, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions on this particular bill? All right, thank you very much, and thank you for being here with us today. We will go to those in support of Senate Bill 486.
Good morning, Chair Dondera-Loop. For the record, Patricia Charlton, Chancellor, Nevada System of Higher Education. On behalf of NG, we urge your support of SB 486.
Michael Flores with the University of Nevada, Reno, but I worked with the chancellor during our time at CSN on the implementation of the Promise Scholarship, and have seen firsthand all the lives that this has touched, and all the students have been able to go to college because of this program. And so here in full support.
Seeing no more in support here in Carson City, we'll go to Las Vegas, and we'll go to the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. If you would like to testify in support of SB 486, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please.
If you would like to testify in opposition to SB 486, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to neutral here in Carson City and Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please.
If you would like to testify in neutral today for SB 486, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. There are no callers wishing to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, with that, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 486, and we will now go to Assembly Bill 583. Can we do these all at once, or do I have to do them individual? Okay. Assembly Bill 583, and we will go to Mr. Thorley when he is ready.
Good morning, committee members. Wayne Thorley for the record, LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. Assembly Bill 583 is we like to refer to it as the Pluto of the major money bills. It used to be a major money bill, and now it's not, or kind of quasi money. This bill sets forth the state subsidy for the Public Employees Benefits Program. That's outlined both for active employees and for retirees, and that's outlined in sections 1 and section 2 of the bill. This is sometimes referred to as a state subsidy. It's essentially the amount that the state contributes on behalf of employees and retirees for health insurance, and happy to answer any questions that the committee members might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions on Assembly Bill 583? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. We will go to those in support of Assembly Bill 583. Good morning, Mr. Irvin.
Kent Irvin, KNT, ERVIN, for the Nevada Faculty Alliance. Good morning. The Nevada Faculty Alliance supports AB 583, which funds the budgets for the Public Employee Benefits Program. We are grateful that the current PEB plan design and benefits are largely being maintained for plan years 2026 and 27. We recognize that maintaining benefits has required substantial increases to the state contributions per active employee and per retiree, partly to replenish mandatory reserves that have been depleted due to past claims and excessive funding. Current projections are that the PEB cash balance at the end of this fiscal year will be tens of millions of dollars below the actuarially determined mandatory reserve levels. The funding is a big lift, and we appreciate it. However, we must also note that state employee health benefits and employee premiums have not been fully restored to pre-pandemic levels, much less to the benefits prior to the Great Recession. The retirees who were shifted to the private Medicare exchange are especially at a disadvantage. The state contribution of $13 per month per year of service to their health reimbursement arrangements has not increased since 2019 and is not keeping up with the increased costs for Medicare Parts B and D, Medicare supplemental plans, and PEB dental coverage, as shown in the chart in our written submission. We hope PEB Medicare HRAs can still be augmented in Section 2, subsection 2B of this bill. The study and reporting requirements in Assembly Bill 188 would help clarify these costs for future biennia. Thank you.
And thank you very much. Any additional support here in Carson City? Las Vegas, seeing none, we'll go to the phone lines. AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. If you would like to testify in support of AB 583, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue.
Good morning, Chair Dondero Loop, Vice Chair Wynn, and fellow committee members. My name for the record is Terry Laird, Terri-Laird. I'm the Executive Director at RPEN, the Retired Public Employees of Nevada. We are here in support of AB 583. However, we are very disappointed that retirees in PEB's Medicare exchange will once again not receive an increase in their health reimbursement arrangement. For several years, our Public Employee Coalition has lobbied in favor of a small $2 increase in the HRA to bring it to $15 per month for years of service rather than the $13 per month for years of service recommended in AB 583. We realize everyone is impacted by inflation, but seniors living on fixed incomes are severely impacted as their health care expenses go up while the HRA does not. In addition, RPEN is very concerned about pending bills dealing with the proposed Nevada Health Authority and how they might further impact PEB and its participants, actives, and retirees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any additional callers, AVH?
There are no other callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City.
Thank you, Chair Dondero Loop and members of the committee. Tess Opferman here on behalf of the AFSCME retirees. Thank you for the opportunity to provide comments on AB 583. This subsidy bill passes every session and clarifies the amount of funding allocated for each PEB recipient and retiree. While we appreciate the increases and realize they are critical for actives and non-Medicare retirees, we must be in opposition to Section 2, subsection 2B, which enumerates the calculation for the health reimbursement arrangement which retirees receive. The allocated amount for PEB retirees has increased year after year. I'm going to go over those numbers. So in 2021, it was $471. 2022, $498. 2023, $515. 2024, $545. 2025, $650. And 2026, $700. The budget and this body recognizes that healthcare costs have increased, and substantially at that. Between 2021 and 2026, the allocated amount increased $229, a 33% increase. That's a whole third. How much has this amount increased for Medicare retirees? $0, 0%. We allocate more and they don't get more. Since 2019, they have continued to receive the same calculation of $13 per month per year worked for a maximum of $260 per month. Just because PEB doesn't cover the costs of Medicare retirees does not mean their costs have not increased. Prescription drugs have increased, Medicare supplement plans have increased, dental plans have increased. While non-Medicare retirees get these increases covered by PEB, Medicare retirees are forced to cover these increases out of pocket. This is simply unfair. We have expressed this concern to the PEB board, to the executive officer of PEB, and to this body, and we implore you to understand. Our retirees served the state for their entire career, 30 years, with the promise that their healthcare costs would be covered. Now, their costs are not even close to being covered. With that, we do understand the increase and we understand this budget cycle, but we stand in opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any additional opposition here in Carson City? And on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. The public line is open and working, but there are no callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And with that, we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
There are no callers to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Thorley, any additional comments? We'll close the hearing on Assembly Bill 583, and we'll open the hearing on Assembly Bill 591.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley, again for the record, LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. Assembly Bill 591 is the Biennial Appropriations Act that the legislature passes every regular legislative session. We went over this in committee, I believe it was Monday evening in BDR form. There are two very minor changes from when we reviewed it as a BDR to now as the bill exists printed as Assembly Bill 591, so I just wanted to briefly mention those. On page 24 of the bill, section 67, line 40, an S was added to the term budget accounts. It was inadvertently budget account. It's referencing multiple budget accounts there, so that was corrected. And then the second edit is on page 30. Section 87, line 40, starting on line 39 and going on into 40, references the director of the Nevada Health Authority. In the BDR form, it referenced the director of the Department of Health and Human Services. Those are the only changes in this bill from when we heard it as a BDR earlier this week. I just want to give some general statements about this very quickly. So this bill reflects the budgetary decisions resulting from all the actions of the money committees during session. The general fund appropriations included in the bill total $4.209 billion in FY26 and $4.344 billion in FY27. That's a total of $8.553 billion over the upcoming biennium, which is an increase of approximately $1.511 billion when compared to the general fund appropriations approved for the current biennium in the Appropriations Act 2 years ago. The act also includes highway fund appropriations totaling $198.3 million in FY26 and $201.7 million in FY27 for a total of $400 million over the upcoming biennium. That's an increase of approximately $63.9 million when compared to the highway fund appropriations approved in the Appropriations Act 2 years ago. Happy to answer any questions the committee members might have.
Thank you very much. And with that, any questions from the committee? All righty. With that, then we will ask you to step back, Mr. Thorley, and we will go to those in support of Assembly Bill 591. You may, Senator Titus.
Just a quick comment thanking our proofreaders that are drafting these bills to pick up something like an S needed and the work that's going on downstairs, and we never see them, but I just want to thank them.
Thank you very much. And they are across the street working as well. So thank you. All righty. Those in support here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you. There are no callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Those in opposition here in Carson City and in Las Vegas and on the phone lines, please. AVH when you're ready.
There are no callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we'll go into neutral here in Carson City, Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, please.
There are no callers to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Thurley, any comments? If not, we'll close the hearing on Assembly Bill 591 and we'll open the hearing on Assembly Bill 592.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley again for the record. LCB Fiscal Analysis Division. This is the last of the major money bills that I'll be presenting. Assembly Bill 592 is commonly referred to as the pay bill. It establishes maximum salaries for the upcoming biennium for unclassified state positions, and also includes additional language related to state employees. And this also was discussed as a BDR on Monday evening in this committee. There have been no changes to the language that now appears in Assembly Bill 592 from when it was discussed as a BDR earlier this week. Happy to answer any questions that the committee members might have.
All righty. Any questions on the pay bill? All right. Seeing none or hearing none, we will ask Mr. Thorley to step back. We'll go to those in support in Carson City and in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. There are no callers to provide support testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll go to opposition here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
There are no callers to provide opposition testimony at this time.
Thank you very much. And we'll go to neutral here in Carson City, in Las Vegas, and on the phone lines, AVH, when you're ready.
There are no callers to provide neutral testimony at this time.
Okay, seeing no closing remarks, I will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 592, and we'll take about a 2-minute recess while we get Mr. Thorley back organized. All right, we are going to move into a work session on Assembly Bill 583, Assembly Bill 591, and Assembly Bill 592. So I will ask Mr. Thorley to go ahead when he is ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley for the record. Assembly Bill 583, I just presented. It's the annual PEB and state subsidy bill. So if the committee wishes to move this bill, the appropriate action would be do pass.
Thank you very much. I'll accept a motion.
So move to do pass.
Thank you very much. From Senator Wynn, second from Senator Cannizzaro. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much. And I'll give the floor statement to myself.
The next bill is Assembly Bill 591. This is the Appropriations Act that I just presented with those two minor corrections to the language. If the committee wishes to move this bill, the appropriate action would be do pass.
Okay, do we have any questions? All righty, hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
Motion to do pass.
Thank you very much, Senator Wynn, second from Senator Cannizzaro. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries, and I will give this to Senator Wynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wayne Thorley for the record. The last, the major money bills for work session is Assembly Bill 592, which is the pay bill. There were no changes from when we discussed this as a BDR to what now appears in the bill. If the committee wishes to move this bill, the appropriate action would be do pass.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I'll accept a motion.
So moved to do pass.
Thank you very much, Senator Wynn. Second from Senator Canizaro. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Senator Canizaro, would you take the floor statement? All right, with that, we are going to recess. We will be back at the call of the chair later today. Take your pick on the time. Bet your fellow lobbyist, and we will be back. So with that, we are in recess.